Hello, welcome back to this very, very long video. It's the explanation and tutorial of this monstrosity which I worked on for 9 nights, and I still have nightmares of particularly this yellow circuit. To this day, yep, not even joking, I still wake up and was like, wait, was that the fucking yellow circuit in my dream? What the fuck? So yeah, this is 5 by 15 by 17 or 1275 blocks. It's not in sync at all. You will understand why that is later. It's a mess and probably my best door. It's certainly my biggest door. Okay, if we ignore the 10 by 10, but the 10 by 10 wasn't really good and it wasn't really a modern door, so this is probably my best modern door, my biggest modern door, even better than the 6x6 trapdoor. Yeah, 93% density and fucking 36% improvement over the previous record. So to get started, because we'll be here for a while, you want a 15 by 5, 17 by 5 hole, which is 3 under the floor. And yeah, this is the shopping list, and there are 4 double chests here, so you know this is gonna be serious shit right here, right? So fuck. So this doesn't even fit nicely in here. So oh right, before I should mention, this tutorial is made in 1.16. This door can be built in 1.15 as is with some minor modifications. So all the target blocks are affecting dusk on the outer shell. So if you just take a block in 1.15 and do this, and then the target block obviously doesn't need to be there. So if you want to build this in 1.15, you can do that. But then you need to just do that, and that goes for literally every 1.16 feature in here. So 1.15 and 1.16 works. 1.14 doesn't, because we need bells in 1.15 for the updating here, and bells didn't do redstone updates before 1.15, or didn't even exist before 1.15, I'm not sure. So 1.15 or 1.16, not earlier sadly. If you add 1 on the sides, you can do it entityless 1.6, so yeah. Someone asked that on the showcase, so that's why I'm saying that. So yeah, 40 pole, 5 by 17, and then here we go. So you want to get 17 torches, a stack and 6, so 70 dust, a stack and 15 repeaters, a stack 52 of sticky pistons, 40 normal pistons, 21 redstone blocks, a toggled input like a lever, a T flip-flop on a button, you know what. Doesn't matter, can be soft powered, it's just literally a fucking block of torches. 57 comparators, 45 droppers, a stack and 8 hoppers, 7 cauldrons. You're gonna need water, but you're going to need a water bucket. You're going to need it as an item for a dispenser, because I'm using a water updater. 4 furnaces and 10 note blocks, or alternatively 8 note blocks and 2 bells. 5 targets, or just 5 extra blocks and 5 detector rails if you're 1.15. 4 fences, 4 iron or gold pressure plates, 2 detector rails, and a trap chest. That's just the redstone components, by the way, and it's already full. For the blocks, you're gonna want 2 stacks and 12 of your doorway of choice. Some of them need to be pushable, some of them need to be powerable. And in 1.16, I think the repeaters can be placed on every fucking block, so that doesn't matter for the ceiling. I didn't calculate what the total block, what the sum of this is, so just grab some stacks. You know, just grab 3 or 4 stacks of building blocks. If you don't color code, if you want to color code, you can color code accordingly, as well as that you're gonna need 1 sand. You're gonna need 1 sand, or gravel, or red sand, or concrete powder. and 14 slabs and 3 obsidian. So yeah. For color coding, red is the input block, brown is the input distribution. The glass block is just a dummy block, can be a normal block, it's just because I want to push and whatever. Bottom triple, bottom double, top triple, bottom redstone block slider, side, just a random block for the bottom triple, sides, singles and doubles, and well, yeah, that's just color coding. So, what's in chest number 2? Minecarts, yay! So you're gonna need fucking a chest full of chest minecarts, lol. As well as 9 furnace minecarts, or any other minecart. Those can also be chests, I guess, but they are needed to stop the chest carts from being pushed to places. As well as some stuff to like clip minecarts. This is actually outdated. This is still for the for the old full clip. But the new full clip just requires like 2 rails and a fence. So yeah, it's really just two powered rails and a fence, I guess. What's behind chest number 3? Shovels! Yay! Unsickable items! Fucking double chest full of them! You're gonna need them! That many! And if that's the unstackable items, you could probably guess what's in here. But can you guess that it's that many? Like, I even color coded them just to demonstrate what the fuck is happening here. Like, oh, that's you know what the fuck. So yeah, you're gonna need like a chest full of blocks. That these don't add up to 3 stacks. You know, you're gonna need a bunch, and then like 2 stacks, 7 snowballs. And with that out of the way, we can finally, after 8 minutes, place our first block in this hole, which is 17 by 5, if I didn't mention it, and it's 4 deep. And you can see the doorway is right in the middle, 4, 4, 3, 3. So, yeah, we're gonna get started with our... So I was thinking about doing the tutorial in the circuit order in which I actually built them, which would have been top down, which proved out to be the worst decision, like a really, really good decision, but also really, really painful decision. So instead I'm just going to go with input out, so bottom to top, basically, because that is how... That's the best way where I can demonstrate what's going on, like fire partial stuff, and yeah, it also like top down would require to build the top in a different way and then show it off and then modify it at a later point if it's the timing and the asynchronicity. So whatever. So input block right there. You want to come to the back left corner and like the back right corner if you mirror it, but like you want to come to a back corner and get 4 from the corner and then just place your input block there. In the open state, the thing is turned on, so yeah. And on top of that, we're going to have our first hopper timer, which, so you want 2 items, and the color coding is because there are going to be more items in there, which aren't allowed to be the same, so you definitely need 2 different kind of unstackable items in here. So two stackable to 64, 2 unstackables, 10 stackable to 64, and 12 snowballs, or 12 stackable to 16. And the reason for that, if I hopefully don't forget it, I hopefully don't forget to explain that later. But the reason is basically the hopper timer controls based on signal strength which circuits are powered. So first 2 items are just delay. We're going to subtract 1 from the. We're going to subtract 1 from this guy immediately. So this will never be. The yellow items will never go on. Will never fire the comparator. So those are delay for magenta to give this dropper for magenta time to fire an item through here. to get this piston to power the bottom triple. So that's what the 2 yellow ones are for. They're yellow because on the other edge, they are convoluted timing-wise with yellow. So the first shovel turns that on, the second shovel doesn't do shit, and that's just for math later down the line. And then the 10 items are on the off edge for basically the second shovel turns everything on, and then the 10 purple items are on the off edge for delaying the third refire of this slider as long enough so that green and yellow get time to turn off and put this clock, which we will build later, in a favorable position. And the 12 snowballs are there to do the signal strength math on the other side, brown, and also this one, because yeah, there's going to be like a rest signal strength. So the first 7 snowballs don't actually do anything, and then the jump from 8 to 7 is what actually like does the last thing of the closing, which is the bottom triple doing the retraction. That took 4 minutes, fuck. So yeah, that one, and then we go there, and then we have this right here. So this is the first minecart clip, because this item loop is actually looking like this. So about that, we are going to clip a minecart into here, and we can do it the new way, that needs to be turned off. So you want to get a diagonal rail, place your comparator back, and then grab your first chest minecart, one first of many, and get something to line it up against, and then just let it. Oh, yeah, right. You need to do that on the other side. I haven't done this clip a lot yet, so forgive my stupidness. I'm still used to the other one. So that just clips onto there, and then it's really easy. You just break that, and it sits there perfectly. This clip is honestly so nice. And then we're gonna have a comparator there and a target block in here to redirect this so it doesn't lock the hopper, because we're gonna have a burnout here, and we can't have the items just stuck in there. And now we need to get from here to there, so we can just place a minecart like this, and make this a float cart over to this side, and break that block, and then just push that back in. So there we go. And what we're gonna have here, right, is the block control for the bottom triple, because we're gonna have the slider here, so we need to put so basically we need to push this up, push this over, and then push this in, so then this pink can be slid out and get a redstone block in there, and then we can just put that back in, and then retract all of this, and then do the triple. Which, yeah. So to block that, we're gonna place a immovable block there on the other side, because this is gonna be hard powered a lot, and we don't want that to push anything over. So we're gonna place an immovable block here. That could be that needs to be a furnace for later for some math. And while we're here, I guess we can put 4 snowballs in there. We need this to create a signal strength of 2, no matter how. You can do the math for how many like dirt blocks it is. Just put 4 snowballs, because it's like the least amount of items and so on. So yeah, signal strength of 2 furnace right there. And here we go up into another comparator, and then a 1 tick facing that way. And on this side we have a comparator going into another slab dust, and then a 4 tick. So what this does is nothing, because I forgot the items down there. So in this dropper are actually 4 items. So that extends, and then that extends, because well, this powers the dust, and for the off edge, we can this 4 tick will perfectly, like, this is 5 ticks, this is 3 ticks, so this will do the retraction for the pink. And that's like the major problem with doing math right here, because if I subtract 1 here, I need to compare to 1 here. So if I would subtract 2, I would compare to 2, and then when this goes to 3, this is 1 and would also be negated. So that was like one of the big hurdles which I ran into at the end of doing signal strength math. And yeah, so we're in that position, and this will fire a 1 tick, and that 1 tick will go into the first of these. There are two drop hoppers right there. One of them has just has a normal item, and one has an unstackable item. We need an unstackable item because the signal strength of 3 needs to pass this subtraction of 2, but not so. We need to do math here. We need to subtract stuff for brown, but magenta still needs to get to here. So so obviously we can, if we subtract 2 for brown, then we need to put 3 into here. So 3 minus 2 is 1, and that 1 won't reach brown. That's why that needs to be a shovel. And then yeah. So here we have a no, that's not there. That is there. We have a piston right there grabbing the middle one. The reason for that is when we get to this state and want to grab the block from right there, the bottom one will always fire first. So what I do instead is I just grab that and then do that and then put it back in. And then it won't conflict on the other ones either, as you can see right here. So that's just the loop. And this is actually one of the last circuits I built, so I'm kind of happy it fit in there. I was in a tough spot. And to make a counter on how many times this can fire, we're just gonna have an item loop, an item thing right here, which points into there. So that means you place a minecart right there, which just sits there, I guess. And then you want to put 4 items in here, as well as on the other side, you know. This will be locked by purple on, like, the other edge, so right now there aren't actually any items in there, so right now there's just 1 item here. There's 3 items here and 1 item there, but when we get there, there's basically 4 items in there. So once we decide to fire this, and just, like, prevent this, so I don't need to wait for everything. And then put 4 items in here, and then release this, release this. Oh, right. This needs to be redirected. I am retarded. There you go. For 1.15, I'll explain that when I loop around. So if that doesn't point into there, God, fuck my life. This is embarrassing already. Let's just do it like that, I guess. So then we put the 3 items back into here, and then fire you. Wait, no, that was the wrong one. That one. Then we should hopefully see that that doesn't refire. There we go. And that's also why you hear another burnout, because this just happened to, like, fire again. That's also why you need 4 items in there, because the burnout will push out all 4 items upwards, and that's what extends the bottom one for so long, as you saw there. So then we end up back where we started. And that's how the bottom triple works completely in a kinda okay-ish space, taking up-ish, fuck, words. So to do the doubles, we are splitting the thing up into multiple parts. So on the one hand, we have We have these doubles, which we need to take care of, as well as 7 singles. This layout is super weird, and I was forced to put 7 singles in the bottom instead of like the usual 7 on the sides because of torches, and yeah, that's just what we have to deal with. So for this side, from the other side we use the redstone block. Here we just use the standard budding double, which is also the reason why this needs to be an unmovable block, because this is gonna get powered a lot. So then we're just gonna like, there we go. And yeah, I figured. Ah, fuck off, dude. So basically we have this comparator reading a furnace with just like any item in it, really. And this 2-tick pointing into there. And that takes care of... So that takes care of, if we just fire this, of like those, and then we just like do that, and that's like the entire right half done. So we have a dust right here. This is an artificial subtract 1. So I wanted to subtract 1 here for purple, but like couldn't because of the, I explained compare to 1, subtract 1, and then this would also get turned off when purple turns off, but this needs to stay on until this turns off, you know. So this is the ABBA gate for pink, but pink needs to stay on. So this can turn off before this turns off. These need to turn off simultaneously. So this is just a way to subtract 1, basically, just add a dust load. So that goes into a 2-tick, that goes into a dust with a burnout, and then that goes into a 3-tick. So, can I fire that? Let me just do it like this. So, yeah, if the double would be in the correct state, we can, well, this one would be fired from that block, obviously, and then if we turn that off, the burnout will take care of the double extension. And the burnout is also conveniently placed. Let's just block that off with an obsidian, because otherwise this bud will like be annoying. The burnout is also used in orange, which is what we're going to build next. So orange is the redstone block slider, and for the right half we will actually use all the space. And this is the last fucking circuit I had to build. And like, this has no room to work, but it does somehow. So we have our normal piston right there, with our sand on top of it. Actually, in the current state, it would be right there, but let's just put it there. I can demonstrate why later. And then we have a folded quad here, like that. So I guess that's not a quad, but like, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and then that's 4. So it is a quad, basically. The block which was the block which started right there got moved to here, so that's 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know? So this has literally no room, because on top of this is yellow, and like here is brown. So brown actually has a dust right there. And then the brown glass going into right here. Because we instantly, when the thing happens, need to, or we want to, not instantly, but like this slider needs to fire either simultaneously with or before this one. So I just hook it up to the input directly. It doesn't really matter, as long as it's like before that, which these comparators ensure that it's always before that, you know. If not the comparators, this item would, like, you know. So what we have here is let's just build the entire pillar, because otherwise it will get confusing for later. So we have a block, and then 2 redstone blocks, and then I believe we start with the chain. There we go. And then we put that down. So you have glass, double redstone block, glass redstone block, glass redstone block, glass redstone block, cauldron, a cauldron redstone block, cauldron. And inside of these is water with any level, really. The other side has specific levels due to whatever happens in light blue. And next up is, I mean, we can just place the reset thing in, so we don't need to manually reset this every time. So there we go. And then this will just bud and do stuff, you know? So when this fires, we want on the opening when this thing needs to fire. When this happens for the first time, right, with the input, this won't do shit because there's still an extended piston right there. Like there's still a piston right there, so this won't do anything. And then when this refires again, which happens when purple turns off, because I have a falling edge right there. So when purple turns off, you can see that fires. And that's another reason why I need this. That's why I need this specific delay for purple, even though this is yellow, and you know, that's why there are 2 yellow items and not just one. One would work out in theory, but they need 2 for their timing. And yeah, so then that will 1-tick the first one, and when this happens, this slider will update. Oops. This slider will update that torch. The issue with the torch is you need to redirect this because of like stuff, and then the issue with the torch is if we put a block right there and fire this, well, if we put a block right there and then put our obsidian in place right there, there, and there. If we fire this, you can see the piston 1-ticks, but this one doesn't get pushed up, simply because it's still block 36 where our piston head when the torch turns on. So before the torch turns off, but after, you know, we need to update that. So we're gonna just put a fucking note block there and then a block on top. This isn't just for noise reduction, this will be powered from here later. So now if you put a block there and update that, you can see we get the full thing. And then if we do that again, and again, we also get the retraction. So that's also, this also is the retraction on the first pulse. So when you close it, that's what happens and subtracts the thing. The sand will fall into place automatically. And funny story, this sand doesn't even need to be a sand. This sand is just a sand for fucking servers. Synergy has, so this orange circuit right here, this clock is 100% consistent in single player. This normal piston will always 2-tick. If we put this on 2, then this will always 1-tick, if it would be a sticky piston. So since it 1-ticks the glass block, then the bottom one can push up the other block, and then it can 2-tick. So the sand would get pulled back into here, and then this piston will like also pull down. So both of these could be sticky pistons if it wasn't for servers being fucking inconsistent with it. So this with the sand works on the servers. And yeah, so how do you do the other stuff? When this fucker retracts, I want a single pulse going through there. So again, falling edge on the sticky piston, so that we only allow one pulse to go through to there from the burnout. And there's also a dust right there to power the sand. So yeah, the burnout does like 4 things. So the signal goes into this magenta block and then comes out of this magenta block with a 2-tick. It's a 1-tick pointing into it, a 2-tick pointing out of it, and then a block with dust, which is why I placed this brown block way earlier. And that's going to power the piston through that. So if we place a random block there and fire this, that was too fast. If we place the thing right there and then unfire it, there we go. And that also, I'm stupid, hold on. Normal piston there, piston there, yeah, because that broke, because I didn't block that. So there we go now. And then this will like get powered from the other side, from over here. We have a comparator running into that, which is reading from a hopper clock. which we need to keep on for now with 1 item in it, because we haven't built the yellow yet, and yellow is what actually fires that part. So that will fire, and then the thing will 1-tick, and then that will also fire, and then everything is fine. So that's how that side is built for orange. And like, so there's yellow here, there's yellow literally in all of these spots, and yellow here. Do you see how fucking tight this orange is? And that was the last thing I had to build. Like, how the fuck did I manage to squeeze that into exactly the hole which I had left? Fuck. So, let's just do the other side for now, and we will get to that later. We will get back to this later. In the current state, this will work fine because the closing pusher will retract this piston into there, and then the sand will just fall in automatically. If this would have been a sticky piston, obviously the thing would just stay, like, be there, but this can't be a sticky piston because then this one won't take on servers. So, normal piston, please. Yeah. So how do we do the other doubles, you may be asking? Well, we're gonna have 2 torches right there, and then a block right, a double piston extender right there. So if we place our door blocks for now, like so, if we fire this, you can see that that bottom double, that double 1-ticked, and the single also 1-ticked. And now we extended the middle one perfectly. The middle one will be powered by the redstone block, and then this one will also get 1-ticked by the redstone block, and that's how we do everything. And then this one is already powered from the torches I showed earlier. And then we just need to... This is also the redstone block, which conveniently holds magenta open for us, and when we retract purple, this will release the items. Not like this, but it will release the items and do the thing. So that's why there's fucking another double to power doubles, and you will see that in the top as well. So yeah, these 2 singles are just powered from here, and like, you know, this is actually powered from a falling edge, which comes from right here. Like so. So when this redstone block comes back, it will fire that, and that does the double retraction. And to fire it on the opening, we just hard power it when the redstone block's gone. So yeah, 2-tick going into there. Blah, block with dust. A node block updater down here. Because this needs to basically this needs to stay extended all the time except when it's closing. You know, the simple double. So this dust will power this one, will power both of them, which will do the extension, and then when this releases, this bottom one will retract, will be held on by this, and then we will need this thing to slap. We will need this thing to also power that guy. So this double should, like, that's the extension, and well, now we just need to hard power this, but this will be hard powered like this, and then just update it, and that gets released, and then the retraction. You can see that just does everything. This one will be retracted by this pink magenta thing, like by magenta, just powering that through there, so that we don't have to worry about that. Yeah, that's purple on this side, except for how we fire it, and that I will get to that. And then for orange, for the other slider, we will just have a normal quad, not folded or anything, because we don't have to fold it. So that's the redstone block, and then we literally just have 3 normals and a sticky piston. The first one needs to be a sticky piston. Make sure this is a sticky piston. The rest doesn't matter. Yeah, so the way we're going to power this is rather simple. We just have a comparator running into there and a block to fire this chain of 2 ticks and that 2 tick and that 1 tick. Not 1 tick, but like that block, which fits nicely in the corner. So, except this is actually the dropper, the one dispenser in here facing downwards, which is the last thing I made because I had a bug in there which I didn't catch earlier. This will actually toggle. So if there's no water here, you close the door, you open the door, there will be water there, and then you close the door and then you open the door and then the water will be gone. So this door technically exists in 4 states, which doesn't matter. It's just a fun fact, I guess. So this is for math because we need to give the sand 2 ticks time to fall. So if we fire this and then fire that too fast, like you would normally do like this, the sand won't fall, and that's another reason why we need to do some fucking like -2, -1, whatever the fuck I did with this. So here we have another artificial subtraction of 1. So that's why this being 3 doesn't matter, because 3 subtract 2 is 1. 1 will reach the target, but it won't ever reach this. So yeah. We come out of here, go into brown again, and just have a repeater going into this, and this will be another hopper timer. And this hopper timer is something else, because here we have a stack of snow, and then we want to fill this up with different items which are not gonna be needed at all. So here we want 4 normal like purple items, and here we want 3 snowballs and 4 different kind of items. Because later you will realize that I have another item loop going right on top of it, which isn't the only time I have 2 hopper loops going on top of each other. For the longest time, these 2 were actually, like this hopper timer was actually right here, and this one was still there. So these were designed in a way to leave items behind, which is why this was subtracting like 5 initially. But then I realized that this will never work out, because this used to be a 1 tick repeater instead, and like anyways. So yeah, 16 and then that, and then here we just subtract 1, but not right now. And this is just this is an updater piston, which just goes into this one. So once again, we have our giant pillar of pillarness. We don't have a redstone block that time. We have a gray wool, which is hard powered from right there. So it's basically a redstone block, except we travel the information of the single string through this into here. Well, not now. There's also a 1 tick repeater going into that, by the way. So yeah, once again, block, redstone, glass, redstone, glass, redstone, cauldron, redstone, cauldron, and then air, and then a downwards facing normal piston. And then just the standard, hook it up to itself, and then put water in it. And very important for the top one has to be single strength 1, otherwise light blue will fuck up pretty badly. So the single strength reaches the second shovel after 4 items. We subtract 1, we subtract 3, we subtract 2, so we subtract 3, then we subtract another one here, that's 4, that's why it's the second shovel which activates everything. And then we instantly, like after 2 ticks, update the slider to do everything. And then once enough items have passed out of this, we can release this compare. This is a compare to 2. It's more than 2, but like when it jumps down to 2, it will activate, because by the time when the second shovel comes in, we are at a single strength of 6, and 6 minus 4 is obviously 2. So compare to 2 means when this drops from 3 to 2, that the rest will fire. And once again, this slider will fire the back of the slider, and that's why I need the delays, because the slider will fire and then the sand needs to fall, and then I can run this through. This is actually slower than this is actually slower than it could be, but due to the nature of this item bullshit with the other thing going above it, I had no other choice but to make this slow, which is kind of sad. But this item loop, which sits on top of there, is like one of the most troublesome things ever made. Ever. So, yeah, you want to just put that there, I guess, and then put a furnace right here, and put an item in there, doesn't matter, and then put a, I think this is purple, this should be purple, but I think it's gray in my initial design. Yeah, it's gray in my initial design. It should be purple, really, and yeah, whatever. So just, that should be purple, so whatever, adjust that yourself. So this is for the thing. So we still need to refire. So on the closing, the both pillars will fire once, and on the opening we need to fire twice. So the reason for that is yellow and green, and we'll get to that later, soon actually. And so over here you saw that on the closing we fired instantly, on the opening we fired instantly, and then when this falling edge like fires, we fired for the third time. Then over here we fired instantly once, instantly twice, and then for the refire we actually used these two pistons, this piston head blocking that piston head from extending. So we are gonna power that from over here actually, like so, with a dropper hopper, like so, and just put a random item in there, as well as another node block updater down here. And yeah, that's, so when the thing gets powered, we need another one right there. Then lots of node blocks in here. So when this thing gets powered, it won't be able to extend because we still keep this extended. And then when this retracts, it will instantly extend that one because it's still being held extend. But this won't realize because this is still like in a pushing state, so that won't actually trigger anything. But when this then turns off, it will do the refire, which is on a 2-tick. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's on a 2-tick. And yeah, so that should be the entire bottom done, except for, well, this thing, because that's hooked up to yellow, and this piston, I guess, which is being held, which we put the slab to not to but power this, and then just invert it with a dropper hopper, which has a block right there, to keep the item in here. Alternatively, this could be a furnace, and you could just negate the comparator with the redstone block, but that's really slow because the redstone block getting pushed over happens super late after purple. So it's just nicer like this. So these are somewhat in sync. And yeah, if everything goes to plan, we should be able to fire this, except for the final 2 pulses from that. So, oh no, wait, that was the wrong one. Obviously I forgot to remove. So you saw that's the delay the sand needs to do the thing. And you saw that's like way too much, but there's no other way. So that's the entire thing if we just remove that. Like that. And then when the items are all done here, once the animation finishes and once the burnout finishes, you have around 3 or 4 items left in here. So if you wait 3 seconds, it's everything fine. And then for the, I guess you saw that already. So there we go. And then obviously this will fail now because that's not a solid block, because this didn't fire, but we will get, like, that's all I can show later for now. The manually do that. I could manually fire that, but you saw the triple work already, right? And you know that this double will get fixed by the triple. So that's the bottom done, and that only took around 40 minutes to explain. Fuck my life. And we're not even done with the. Oh my god, we're not even at darker. Yeah. I kind of rushed through everything which happens in this corner because, alright, so this 16 bullshit and this full thing bullshit. So essentially we only have 15 items traveling through this bitch. And when this thing is subtracting 1, so we fire the bottom, right? And then this block gets back into place, and then this comparator will fire purple through this one-tick repeater. And the one-tick repeater is important because the one-tick repeater fires the piston with the redstone block under this dropper, and then a tick later we can fire the dropper again. So this needs to be one tick less than that. And then when we do the thing again, these will turn off simultaneously. So this will turn off, but will be we will refire it from here. So this will be turned off, and then we have 16 items in here, and then the items will make their way back, and once they pass the signal strength from 2 to 1, that's when purple gets released, and that's when the refire happens. Initially this was way less shitty. Initially that was just 8 snowballs and 17 purple wool in here, but I had to make stuff because of this, you know. Because otherwise all 8 snowballs would go into this one, and then there was air here, and then that would suck the item from the yellow item thing. I should not talk as much because we still have lots of things to do, but at the same time I only get a chance to make this video once, so I want to give you as much information as possible. Because, yeah. So we can put in a floor at this point because we need it as orientation as to where is this green? Yeah, that's green. That looks greener than usual. Is that the same green? That is the same green. Why does this look greener? Anyways, so that's our thing. And then we also need to place the first couple of wall blocks just as orientation, because otherwise you are going to misplace stuff. And it looks nicer that way. Yeah, so on to yellow and green. The sides have the corner block is taken care of by this, and you will see now that due to these torches existing, we can have pistons right there, but we can't have a piston right there, and that's the reason why there are 7 pistons in the bottom. So here we have 6 singles, so we do actually stack all the way to the ceiling. That's 7, I can't count. We do have 6 singles and also 5 doubles right behind it, like so. And then also 3 triples back here. Like so, in a sort of whatever shape. And here the same, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we have just another 9 right there. So that's the side layout, and this is gonna be a fucking mess. So the way that Teo's and Bram's one worked, and which is why it was 7 wide, is because they stored the redstone block as any sane person would do with a double piston extender like this. Unfortunately, you can see that that creates like a 2 with the depth deficit. So yeah, why don't we just like go ahead and store them right there. Right there. We're just gonna store them right there. Do you see any problem with this approach? I don't. And then we just put them in there manually with a single, which just needs an abagate now. And here comes all the knowledge which I learned from my 6x6 funnel trapdoor, and the other trapdoors I did earlier in the year. because I did come up with the green and with the lime and the yellow circuits in a tandem, which does everything. And without this, this wouldn't work. Lego fan asked me, like, how do you plan all of this? Like, you don't just go in and invent a circuit which does 5 things at once. And, like, the way to get down to... Oh, no, wait, he said you don't just go in and, like, fit 3 extra circuits in here. No, I just make one circuit which does all of that. The way small doors, especially stuff like this, operates, also like 10 by 10 by armor and shit, you make a circuit which is basically reusable and like variable. So the circuit does multiple things depending on how you use it, and it will get reused a bunch. So those are the 2 factors which like make this shit possible. So I will just demonstrate it on a model because it's not easy to understand in the way it is built in total. So we have this setup with a block right there. It won't work without a block. So we have this setup, and what happens is we're going to give the back piston a 4 tick. We're going to give this piston on 4 delay a 2 tick. This is what I learned from the 6x6 stuff. So that's just a 1 tick. That will always 1 tick that. And afterwards we are going to give this a 4 tick pulse, or just any pulse really. We just need to get there. After everything is done, we need to give this a pulse and then give this guy a pulse, which should be there. So what green does is, oops. So that's everything lime does. That's everything lime does. So in this state, we can just use it again. And oh, would you look at that, it did the retraction. Oh, nice. I can't do this tongue sound. So that's what green does, and then yellow complements that by doing everything green is missing. So what is missing? Missing is that, and then that. Or you do it differently, which is what yellow does, because yellow simply does that, that, and that. The reason for this extra dead pulse is because it's used on the opening, on the closing, because when we're in this state, we can do the exact same thing. This turns on, this turns on, this turns on. That's what happens on the first, when the thing fires on the closing. For the opening on the first fire, the green will do nothing, because yellow is blocking it. And then yellow will release its T flip-flop, which will turn them off in this order, which is that one. And then these 2 simultaneously, but it doesn't really matter as long as like that happens. That can turn off before this in theory. So then on the third refire, on the refire, we get that, and then this turns on, this turns on, this turns on, this turns off, this turns off, this turns off. And that's everything lime and yellow do. Essentially, yellow and lime just create these inputs in a way that this goes first, and then after 2 ticks, this will turn on, and then that will abrogate that, and then this just is powered simultaneously with that one. So on the closing, we are gonna do lime as I showed before, and then power this. Alright, so take 2. We are in this position, and then yellow turns on. Yeah, there we go, yellow turns on. And then on the next fire, green does absolutely fucking nothing, and then this turns off, leaving us in where we basically left. And then on the refire, lime grabs that and does the first retraction. And now we need to give yellow a pulse, which conveniently happens to be a 3-tick. And when we do that, you can see it does the entire retraction. And that's everything in the side. So we do lime, we hard power yellow, we do lime, we unpower yellow, we do lime, and we do and we do yellow again, but a pulse. So this made reusing stuff super easy, because it's easy with hopper and hoppers to make an item station which goes on-off pulse, and then just fire green every time with this. And that's why I used sliders, because yeah. We're actually gonna build the bottom yellow first, because green will sit here and then bottom yellow will be a fucking nightmare to build, because we won't be able to reach it in space anymore. So let's just start over here. So we're gonna have some clip minecarts in places which are easier to access now with the new clip. The old clip would have forced us to build top down, which yeah, that was not fun. So what happens in yellow is we have, and on both sides, we have 2 4-ticks running into a T flip-flop down here. That's the on-off for yellow, and then the puts will come from somewhere else. So in what we do have on this side is a dropper facing up and a dropper facing that way, like so. And pretty sure it is. Yeah, it's like that. We have this block actually be a hopper facing into the torch with the 4-tick back on it, and just put a minecart. Yeah, we want to block this off with obsidian, because otherwise this is gonna be fucking annoying. You see a pattern here with stuff being fucking annoying. So we want a minecart just right there to ensure the item goes into the thing below and doesn't get spit out or collected by a player which happens to be standing around inside a fucking door. You know, the usual. And then replace the pistons, and I should probably build that before the layout. And then we're gonna have a hopper right there with a clip minecart inside. So once again, we need to put a diagonal powered rail 4-tick on here, and then put block rail, minecart, fence, and then just break that. Yeah, that will, on one axis, these minecarts will nudge each other. So if you want to get rid of that, you can just I've put the tutorial in this direction by accident, because this is the one axis where it fucks up. It's not even like negative x, it's literally just positive x. Yeah, fuck. So you can just put that there with floatiness that way, and that should prevent that from being like moved. Otherwise it doesn't matter, and then we just break. Yeah, that happened because it got like moved. So break that, place a 4-tick, block, detector, just a rail, push it against the fence, and then just break that block and then break that rail, and that will now sit nicely between the thing. And then replace whatever we broke to do so. Like so. So this is completely isolated, this dropper thing, so it can't, it has to do the toggle for yellow, so it needs to turn on once, which is nice because there's just an item in there. So when this fires once, it gets turned on. When it fires again, it gets turned off, and then we need to prevent it from turning on again on the third pulse because of the, yeah, because we just can't have that happen. So the way we do that is the delay from this storage is actually, so the delay is like with this 2-tick and all of the purple stuff in here is again timed so that, like it's again a really precise timing, so for another reason. Because the item from that will need to go into, from the thing, into this dropper. And this dropper will be fired by this 4-tick to reset the item onto there after the third fire. But having a dropper right there into a hopper, like having that dropper face into this hopper isn't enough. So we need to put a minecart on top of here. So that's enough, funnily enough, because it's just like one game tick missing, and hoppers eating from above actually take longer. So take a game tick longer. So push that into there. Break that, and then just push these two in. And now that is that minecart will be, if this wasn't glass, you can't see the minecart basically. As you can see, it's like inside the glass block. On the other axes, if you are building the door in the Z direction, you run into the issue of a minecart being placed like this and then broken. Turning, which will be visible like so. You want to not place the minecart and break a rail, you want to place the minecart like so, and then push it against push it afterwards and then break it, and that way it will stay the direction, and then you can push it in like so. I didn't actually know that, so if you place the minecart on a rail without touching it, break it, it will always face positive X, and if you move it, then it will remember its direction, because presumably, I assume the minecart, when it gets initialized, the variable is set to 0, and once you touch it, it gets updated, but not if you just break the rail. Anyways, so that's this item loop done. That will do the on-off. That's it. That will do the on and the off. We will fire that through. We will read that through the obsidian and into here. This will go into a 1-tick right there, except this is a, is that a block? That is a block, I think. Yeah, we're also gonna have this right there, so yes, that is not, no, this is a hopper. This is already the hopper. We're gonna have an item thing right there. So we have a hopper thing like this, and then a 1-tick into another 1-tick right there, and then just place a block there, and then into a target block like so, and that just goes into there, and that's the redirection for that, because we can't have that lock this hopper. And that's also how we lock the clock while it's closed, because this will be on, and then this will turn off, and that will prevent this from clocking about. So there is no running clock while it's closed. So in here we want a chest minecart to make sure that item gets properly eaten up, and then in here we need a here we need another clip minecart. So you know what that means? That means placing that, and then is there something on here? There isn't actually something on here. So you just if there's nothing on there, you can just place a cart like that. That's the normal rail then. If there's nothing in there, you can just place a cart, then place another one and break the rail quickly, I've been told. There we go, that's in there now. And then you just replace this. And then push this down, and then worry about how you get the cart in there. Presumably like so. So yeah, that's that. And then yellow also has to power this piston, we put a hard signal onto this guy, which will then get red into there. Through this, like so, and the block in front of it is actually already part of lime. So that's yellow for this side. On the other side, we can't do this fancy item loop because of, well, this thing and this thing, and this is horrible. So that's that. I think, at least, we are missing these two droppers. This is a dropper facing upwards, and then a dropper facing into the minecart, obviously. And then the top one has an item in it. Be careful to not update this, because it is getting butted by this redstone block at this very moment. So, yeah. And now for orange, I guess. This thing is actually not like this. This is actually a thing facing upwards, a thing facing sideways, like that, and then facing down, and then we're gonna put another minecart in there just to make sure it gets grabbed properly. I said we are gonna put another. Did you move? No, you didn't move. We are going to put a minecart in there, if you like it or not. I guess like. This is annoying. We will put a minecart in there. Really? Okay then. Yeah, so we're gonna put it in from this angle then. You can not do me like that and expect to get away with it. Oh my god, it can. Get in. There we go. So that was a mess. And then in here is just an orange item, and then we can get rid of that, which permanently holds this. So that's bottom yellow on this side. And then, I guess while we're at it, we can do bottom yellow on this side just for comparison. Okay, so we have the same basic setup with this and the other thing and the two vortex and then the return line. But this time we can't go there, so we get the item to here with the vortex, and then just cycle it around through here and here, and these two droppers, which get then fired by magenta. This is the location. Magenta fires 3 times, so the item will always make it through here no matter what. We're gonna clip some minecarts. Who's hyped? I'm hyped. So first off, we want a minecart, any minecart really, right there. Arma said something about I could just use a slab, but I didn't build that yet, so I'm just not gonna do that. So first we want a furnace minecart right there. Then we want another furnace minecart right on top of that. And then we want, okay, that looks ugly as shit, I want you rotated. Please rotate for me. That's what I meant by if you are in the other direction. There we go. And then on top of that, you want a very specific minecart. This minecart will be floated towards the corner. So you want to float it towards here, and you want to float it towards there. That goes in there. So this item will get sucked into this hopper. And it won't get sucked below. That's very important. So how do we get from well, you can see how we get to there from there, right? We just put a fucking minecart in there. We just put a minecart in there, right? No big deal. We can just do the normal fence thing. Give me that. Go in there. There we go. And then we place a yellow wool to read the thing through. Right. There, I guess. There we go. So that's that part done. So we can get from the bottom dropper and the top dropper, from the top dropper into there, through magenta into this, from here into there. And how do we get from here into the reset line? Because the item is actually sitting in this hopper. That's why this one-tick repeater is there, because this one-tick repeater needs to, the storage needs to release its item right before this dropper gets fired, and that's just timed out perfectly again with all the thing and the, there's, if you change any of these repeaters, thing breaks. If you change these repeaters, thing breaks. If you change this repeater, thing breaks. If you change this, thing breaks. These orange ones, thing breaks. If you change any of the item timers, thing breaks. On top of that, there's stuff in the top, thing breaks. You know? This thing is so fucking sensitive and specific. It's a miracle they've even got it to work. So we're gonna clip a minecart into the slider right there somewhere. So clip minecart, you know what that means. Everything's fine. I'm fine. So 4-tick repeater, yes, give me that. We want a thing right there with another rail. We want, don't touch that minecart. It's floated, so if you just like touch it with your player collision, it will fuck up. Then just drop that in there, nice, and then you break that, nice, and then you run into a problem. So this minecart will obviously need to go back into this block to do the thing. However, if you have that was a poor choice of block. If you have a clip minecart, ignoring the repeater for now. If you have a clip minecart like so. Further. If you have a clip minecart like this, and there is a piston in that position, piston extends, fine. Piston retracts, not fine. Now that doesn't look so bad, right? The issue is, okay, fuck, I built one over. But that doesn't look so bad, right? It isn't. The issue is that there's another piston right here. So, what if I told you if you do this? Fuck! You know, that's kind of a problem. So that's actually where a cauldron comes in, which isn't filled with water or even red from a comparator. We're going to use a cauldron for its fucking hitboxes. So you want to like put a fence right here, or a fence post or whatever. Just put something with a hitbox right here, please. And then push the cart over. Not like that. And then you want to get a fucking cauldron after you've replaced all the pistons. So make sure not to touch that. So normal piston, and then we need to push in the rest from above. Fuck my life. This one shouldn't be touched. Yep, still goes through, and then you can see it travels into the minecart and then into here. So, due to the internal hitboxes, we can actually just push the slider in like this, And that will get pushed back a bit, so that was actually bad. So you need a fence gate if you do it like that. Let me just like bud you so nothing else happens. So if we push you back in now, that doesn't look like it should. Whatever. Guess you can use a... whatever, this should work out. So we're gonna push in the thing, and then we want to push in the thing. Put dust there, and then get a cauldron and push that into right there. And the cauldron will prevent the minecart from ever leaving this area, because it will get stuck on this cauldron wall, or any of the internal hitboxes of a cauldron. I think there are internal hitboxes on a cauldron, I'm not sure, don't at me. And yeah, that will just keep the minecart in place where we want it to be, and yeah. So other than this bullshit, we can build the bottom exactly as we did over there. So block right there, there. We have a thing running into there. Dropper facing upwards, dropper facing inwards, and then a thing right there. So the reason this bullshit happens here, because this minecart needs to be higher enough so that this thing sucks it, and low enough that this hopper can still even exist. So yeah. Just a tiny bit of going insane, and I'm not sure if I can actually do this clip right now because of, yeah, seems fine. Oh right, this is a normal clip. So we do it like so, with one sitting right there, and then nope. That's clipped in, I guess. So then we still need that one. You are not allowed to move any of the other minecarts, my friend. Please don't. Perfect. I forgot the one tick repeater. One tick repeater. One tick repeater there. One tick repeater. We still need to push that. Okay, so we have a yeah, so that is why we need the cord. Wait, that was, oh my god, was actually right the first time. Fuck my life. Oh, so this and then and then you fire that like that. Just make sure that so then you fire that. Break this and break the thing. Look, push it in from the top. Push it right there. Push pistons in. Does one tick repeater. Cauldron. And now just place it. Block. Target. Again, if you want to build it at 1.15, you're gonna have to redirect it outside. So just place a detector rail in this block. So yeah, and then the upwards, and then the thing, and then this has an item, and then that has an item, and then these also exist. Like so, and that points into a lime block with dust right there. And that should be bottom yellow done. I can't show you it individually because first we need to build green. And before we build lime, I'm actually going to go to the bathroom because I didn't plan this through. So yeah, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I have returned from my very embarrassing bathroom break, and I'm ready to still embarrass myself even further by forgetting basic things. So we can place all of these in already, and now we go back to lime. So lime, what you saw with the two tick on the with the 2 tick after 4 ticks on the redstone blocks and the 4 ticks on the triple, and then the other stuff, that's basically gonna be happening in a vertical fashion here. So from this, which is actually where that's green, we have 2 ticks going into the back one, which is nice because it's like, so we have 2 ticks into there. We have 2 ticks. This one is a slab. We have 2 ticks into there, and then we have then if you remember, we need to refire that after 4 ticks, after 8 ticks. So that's also really nice because this is basically the same thing as I had over there, like on the model, but just in a vertical fashion. This needs to be a slab. And after the 2 4 ticks, you remember maybe that we need to fire both of these. So that's just done like so, and then you cut that off. So the 2 ticks won't actually reach that, only the 4 tick will hard power this block, and that's how we get the signal through here. And so now for updating this thing for yellow, we need to place a, or rather for yellow. So when this fires, I want both of these to fire simultaneously. As you saw in the model, these can fire simultaneously. They basically do fire simultaneously. And the way we do that, well, that one is obviously powered and that's budded, so we just need to make that realize it's budded. So you just place a note block right there, and then make sure that doesn't hard power the note block. So in 1.15, you would use a bell right there. You can use a bell in 1.16 as well, but bells are noisy as fuck, so you know, I just put this on dot mode and just put a note block because it doesn't make any noise in comparison. So yeah, that's that. In 1.15 you use the thing, and before 1.15 you need to find a different way to update that, which I'm not going to explain in the video. So that's green, that's lime. And now for top yellow, except we could probably mirror this on this side quickly. So we have 2 ticks and then slabs. Two, 2, 4, 4 blocks, dot mode, note block right there, or a bell, and then that, cut, that, 2 tick, that done. So that's lime done, and at this point I could fire this and show you the bottom stuff working, but let's just put the top one, you know. So for the top yellow, we once again need to make a circuit which, an item loop which holds the signal for us, which can store the information basically for on, off, and then pulse. So for on, we are going to have, we're going to put a thing right here. The item will be in the bottom thing, and the repeater will instantly put it through the top, so that's not locational and it doesn't really matter. So we put the item into there, and then slabbed thing, and that goes into this, which will then bud that one. and that will just loop the item back around into here. And the way we do that is with a double floated minecart. Don't ask me why the hopper isn't right there. There was a reason in a previous version, which is obsolete now, and I simply never changed it because I didn't need to. So yeah, that still works. I guess you could save the slab if you don't do this, but like, who gives a fuck at this point? Yeah, so this thing will fire the item, and that's how we get the pulse. How do we get the on and off? Well, we simply lock this off. It's really just that simple. So, do that, we are going to conveniently, which also helps the top out, do a 3-station loop right here with a cauldron. So if you remember from before, this slider will fire 3 times, and when this thing fires 3 times, it will... I was trying to figure out a way to do that with dropper hoppers, to like find a setup which would like like 3 droppers getting fired at once, and it will like cycle the thing through 3 stages. But if we that's what this redstone block is for. If we have this and then just put a dummy block right there. So on the first update, you see it gets grabbed down. On the second update, it gets put back there, and on the third it just gets put there. So this essentially is a 3-station T-flip-flop, and that's exactly what we need. Or I need, and I'm kind of happy or like proud I came up with this idea. So on the first one, on the closing, this gets pulled down, which locks the item into here, which keeps yellow on. And you know, I think. And on the second time, when Lime fires, there isn't an item in there because it's still in here, so that's why there's no pulse. And then on the third time, this is off, and this will just pulse once. So we couldn't design anything like that down here because there's no room. And yeah, is there an item in this thing? Yes. Is there an item in that thing? Yes. Is there a minecart missing? Yes, of course there's a minecart missing. So there's a minecart missing right here. There we go. So then the thing gets read out into here. And this isn't actually symmetrical. This is the one part that isn't symmetrical due to the way the top isn't symmetrical. It's forced this to not be symmetrical. And we are going to have a 1 tick right here. And then a block. If it does, downwards into a 4 tick into this 3 tick. And then we need a node block updater for that one, obviously. As well as a node block updater right there, but that's not for now. So this is the 1 tick, this is the 4 tick, this is the 3 tick. And then on the other side, we are going to have the other side we're going to have a 2 tick, a 4 tick, and a 3 tick. So the reasons for that will be explained, hopefully, if I don't forget, in around like when we finish everything. So that goes there, that goes there. Double floated minecart. Let's check it. Yep, item cycles through, item stops down there. So here we actually have the bud again, and then we have a 2 tick, and then this just is a dust normally, and then it's actually a 4 tick up here, and then this thing into that 3 tick. This is the input for that piston specifically, be next to the redstone block. This won't ever update, like this is not locational because this piston will never... It reads the signal, but it doesn't get a block update, which could trigger it because when well, the other piston extends. So that's fine, and over here we can't do it because you'll see later. And here it's the same thing. The spotted doesn't realize, and then the back one pushes without it ever having a chance to fuck up anything. And yeah, that's yellow if we don't forget to place this stuff. And once again, this cauldron needs to be a signal string, the 1 on this side, because of light blue, which is sitting right behind these 2 blocks, so these 2 comparators are not allowed to fire light blue in like a meaningful way. And then redirect the thing, because we don't want that to butt the thing. So if I didn't like fuck up too hard, we should be able to fire the thing. I like the word thing. Oh yeah, that happened. Can we just push that back in? That's the thing with the x-axis, which of course. So we're gonna give me a minute. Okay, so that's fixed. That was just, again, the fucking hitbox issue with the particular direction I was, with the east direction, which I chose by accident. But yeah, I guess I'm showing you the worst case, so... if everything goes to plan and I didn't, like, forget anything... Ouch. Can't hear my face palmer now, but like... We didn't even build the inputs to this guy. Didn't build these input yet, so of course it can't work. Skipped over that because I was busy explaining the side. Oh my god, why am I like this? So this is these are our 4 fences with our 4 iron or gold pressure plates. And our 4 dummy minecarts sitting inside the redstone block, like so, which will then do the thing for us. Why am I like this? Why is my existence filled with pain? Why can't I just fall asleep and never wake up again? So if we just pretend that didn't happen, because I'd rather not want it to have happened. There we go. So these things are going to be controlled from here. So if we see the thing is spotted but it doesn't realize, and so that's those are working like so, and then these 2 are or like the one that isn't extended right now is powered from here. So that's that. Yeah, so I guess we can just build that now. There's a this block's actually a dust, and then the signal travels through a light blue block into a 2-tick into this dust. That's how we extend to that guy, and then on this side it's actually different for the reason which again will be apparent later. On this side we will power it like so. and 2 1 ticks and a block. So this block's the reason why this is different, because it's not here. And also we need this block because there's stuff on the flag though. And other stuff, reasons, so that's how the top works. That will get updated from the single extending, so don't worry about that yet. And then these are being taken care of like so, and then that's everything except the top. So yeah, then for the retraction we want an updater to take into these. And the reason for that is the top double will get stuck in this position, and then these pistons will update it to retract properly. Yeah, these side doubles don't work yet because this thing isn't timed properly, or not timed at all. So, but the triple works, so that's everything for the sides. Moving on to the top now. Or I guess we could do the side thing. So this side thing, both of these actually are powered like this from a piston pushing down a block. On this side we are going to build a circuit right now, and on this side this is actually done by the top circuit, so this is basically done now. And on this side we have something else. So on this side we can break these again, because this isn't actually what it looks like. This is where all those gray items come into play, because we're going to have a thing right here, a thing right there, and then a comparator greeting this hopper into the piston, which is right there. But inside of the piston is a minecart to connect the dropper to that. Because, yeah, there's, just trust me, why there is one, fuck. So once again, clip the thing, like so, grab a fence conveniently placed inside the door, chest minecart, like so, push, and then just drop that, and then just break that, and then just shake that. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. And then inside of there is just the gray block, which we will use. So that's connected like so, and we run into a problem. There's going to be an item timer right there for a dark blue. So you know what that means. We got to fill all of this shit up with items. And this needs to be a really long ABBA gate. And the way this is going to work is, so this dropper is completely full with gray items. And then the hopper behind it has a stack of gray items, and just whatever you want. You can fill it up with literally anything, it doesn't matter. And then, as long as it's full. And then the minecart has a stack of gray items and is completely full with something. That's where the items come from. This is once again full with just gray. And then these are full with gray items and a shovel. As well as this one. Like so. That's where the items come from, because this is full. So what's gonna happen is, when yellow, when it closes, the thing right here will power the dropper, fire it, lock the item inside the hopper. The item couldn't be pushed anyways, but you know, because when this turns on, it will fire an item into the it won't actually fire the item because the minecart at that point is still full. Actually, no, never mind. The minecart has an empty spot, and then the thing pushes its item in. But because this is hard powered, the hopper is locked, so the item stays inside here. And then when this gets turned off, the item will still be stuck in here because this is still full, this is still full, and this is still full because it's still being held on by this. So once this turns off then, so after like another 8 ticks of delay, then the item will get sucked and then the item can move. And then that's the right ABBA time to retract the doubles perfectly before the refire happens. So with this in place now, we should be able to see that this side does the doubles. There you see the doubles extended. And then that's also the reason why you saw in the opening these two take ages, because they are actually controlled by cyan. So yeah, that's why that takes ages. Then you release that. And you see these retract all fine. You are still broken because you need an updater piston. You need an updater thing. Right. Yeah, so the thing was there. Never mind then. So this notebook was there then. And 61 now. Are you pointing into the where? I should not have done that. You're full, and then you need to be full as well, and then... Alright, so, classic me mistake. We didn't prevent the minecart inside the piston from being pulled up by the piston. So... we just place this stuff again. And then place our thing, and then we want a dummy minecart in this very spot so that this piston doesn't pull up the minecart. And then everything should work out. If it's not that, then it's because blue keeps these on longer than they are currently being held on, but one item. What about you? You have, there we go, that was the issue. So that works now. Moving on to the top now. And the top is split into 3 parts. One is like the smallest part, so let's just start with the singles and the doubles, and then we can move on to the triple and the quad. Mainly the quad. The triple just happens to be there and just happens to get triple while doing the quad. So we have thing like that. So we have 5 singles and then 3 doubles, and then a full triple, and then a folded quad, like so, with a redstone block right here. And then to power the middle double piston extender, we actually need another redstone block right there. So how the fuck do we do? So this is the first thing which I built just to make sure this even works. So I had the slider idea, so I had the sliders, and then I built the top going off of the sliders. And yeah. So the doubles are actually the easiest part of everything. You just one tick this line from this block right there. So when this gets pulled down on the closing, this will get read through here. This is actually a dark blue block because I built dark blue first. Although it should be a cyan block, I guess. So when this gets pulled down, these just one tick, and then this double piston extender gets taken care of by the redstone block, and then the other two get powered from this redstone block double piston extender, which looks like this. And then this is a thing like so. There we go. So when this one ticks, and then we just fire that off. And there you go, that's the double. And I fucked it. Give me a second, let's just block these off. You don't have to do that, that's just me doing it because I will demonstrate stuff for you. And then that's ultimately why these take so long, because of the entire delay it takes, because this double piston extension is actually what updates the triple when it's here, and the triple updates the quad. So that's how I butt updates. That's why that redstone block happens last, and then off of that redstone block, obviously the sides happen. That's why that takes ages, and like it's asymmetric as shit. So, and then this does the full retraction. This is like the first time since 1.9, which came out over 5 years ago, I think. And it's the first time I found a use for redstone block comparator locks. What the fuck is 2020? Like, seriously. The world's fucked up. I start using entities, and I find a use for fucking comparator redstone block locks. And it's not just used once, it's used twice. Because this is the exact same circuit over here, which just fucking does the final retraction. Like, bitch, please. Like, this year, oh my god. So, yeah, that's that. And the way we're gonna fire this is from... We're gonna put an item loop into light blue, but we will get there later, I guess. We'll get there now, actually, because that's like the next thing which I can build. It's like the only thing I need to build. So, yeah. So that's that. We're gonna build light blue now. Light blue is a very interesting circuit. Light blue, that's powder. Where is it? There are too many items. So light blue is gonna be a dual-edged like thing which does the stuff here. So we want a one tick running into there, and then a node block right there, and then a 2 tick running into the node block, followed by these 3 dust, which is the reason why these need to be 1. Because this can't ever possibly power that, or you're fucked. So, why is this happening? This is happening because we have a clock like so, which fires exactly 3 times. Because we're gonna, after a 4 tick and another 4 tick, we're gonna unpower this torch, which will pull that block away, and that stops it. So, what this shit does, right, is if we want to take this, I should get a better position to show you this. I guess I could. No, I can't. Guess we can want to take that one. Okay, so when we want to take this, what will happen is that we do the full quad extension, we do the triple part of the quad extension, and then store it back in its folded position. And then if we do that again, we do the first retraction completely due to the budding, and as you saw, I waited with pulling that back for a while. That is so that this thing can extend and grab this again. So we end up in this position just off of light blue, and one pulse in this. So, and as you can see, if you look at the triple, well, the triple, but we're missing a pulse. It looks, it's powerful there, so 1, 2, 3. So the triple also does like its thing, just happens to work out. And then, well, I fucked it up now. Whatever. So yeah, that's light blue, which just does that. But the way we power that is we need to fire this twice, once on the opening, once on the closing. But we can't fire. We need to make sure we don't refire it when we refire the thing. So what I ended up doing was just using a dual edge, because if you remember, this thing gets pulled down on the first time, up and over on the second time, and just back into you on the third time. So essentially, this cauldron leaves this spot twice. So if we just put a falling edge here, this will fire on the first time, on the second time, and not on the third time, which is perfect because that's why. So the drop hopper with an unstackable item, because we are locking that, and then we are also locking, and then we're also powering that. This is just your fuck. That's just your average. That's just your average repeater lock falling edge attached to the thing. So let me fix this real quickly. Alright, so, and then we fire the rest block double from here by putting an item loop into everything. So, yes. We are going to read this right there, and then thing, and then this is actually a hopper, and then a two tick into that, because the last pulse, the pulse which is this 2 tick into this node block, will push an item from this dropper into the top one. That's why this isn't locational, even though there's a dust pointing into 2 droppers. That doesn't actually never have, like, that never has an item when the thing gets fired. So we want, obviously, the item to be from here, because this is the thing which doesn't get clocked to death, because this only fires twice from the 4 ticks, and we only have 1 item there, so whatever. So yeah, the loop just happens to work out if you put this faces upwards, this faces into that, and then you put a hopper right there, and then a hopper circle like so. So a huge arc of circles, hoppers. So that obviously requires a minecart right there. And right here. Like so. And then we just need to get to this hopper from this dropper, which is easier said than done. Well, not really, it's actually, so you break that block, you break that, you break that. And then we do another clip, and so we want a clip into here, so you clip it into there, like you've done like 5 times already, more than 5 times already. Fence posts there, push it over, break that. Actually, the other method would have worked as well because there's nothing on top of, like, there's just dust on top of it. You could just place that in, which is it doesn't have a hitbox. Anyways, so once you break that and replace that dust and replace that dust, and then you break this. Because, and then you break that. Because we need this to be floaty over there, obviously. Or we don't even need it to be floaty. We just need to be just need it like over there. So you can also just place a chest and then just push it against that. So now if we put an item in here and fire that, it will end up in this dropper. Perfect. And now to replace everything, so you broke a slab right there, and then you broke dust there and a block here. I just realized that this is way more efficient than what I had previously. Actually, hold on. Yes. That's sticky piston. Alright, yeah, we need to once again prevent this from being pulled backwards, so we just need to put an entity into this spot. I think here I actually stacked yeah, here you can see I stacked 2 furnace minecarts, but now I realized that's stupid. I could have just put one into this block. So let's just do that and save a minecart. So what hitbox do we use? I guess we use a cobblestone wall. Yeah, that I guess we can just use a fence. Yeah, we can just use a fence. And then break that, and then push it back in. Make sure to push that block back in, otherwise you're gonna run into some issues. I wonder if we can... let's just zero tick it and everything will be fine. There we go. So then the item will just rest in this very bottom thing. This should be cyanide, by the way, I just noticed, so... Shit. There we go. Yeah, that's the fucked up storage for this. There's a minecart sitting in this very spot because we have this pointing into there, which points back into there, and you know what that means. Clipping. So that, and then that, push, break, doesn't matter if that gets nudged because there's nothing under here. So then just push this back in from above. Alright, so that has an item in the minecart right now. What we have right here, this is an extra move for the triple that just fires off of the retraction. Then we have this thing right here, which is responsible for the closing, like so. So for the people following in 1.15, first off, so when this redstone block retracts, it will fire the item out of this dropper, upwards, fire all of this, and then just reset. The reason the item is stuck in this right now is because in 1.16 we use a dot right here, because this obviously can't power the node block to power the dropper again, because that would loop. So in 1.15 you would redirect it like so. which powers the hopper, and in that case the hopper can just face into the dropper, because when this turns on, this will lock the hopper when the redstone block goes under. So the whole reason for this item loop is so that the item does, like this dropper doesn't fire on the closing, because then it would fire this, which then undoes the one ticking, and that's bad. So yeah, in 1.15 you would redirect this, and then these can't be placed on top of pistons, or they can, but they will break. So in 1.15 you would place a comparator right here, and then do the thing outwards. So you would have a line running here, and then just doing that, you know. In that case, you would need an unstackable item to reach the thing. You'll figure it out. You're smart. You aren't. I hope you are smart. You know, in that case, you just build out in that way and redirect this. For 1.16, we just click on it. And that's also why this super slow bullshit will then finally do the gray for us. Onto dark blue, which is basically just this redstone block control and some extra moves. We fire this right now. Can we fire this? I think we can fire this right now to show you. So what happens next is, well, what happens before that is this guy extends, this guy extends, and then we get a redstone block here and extend that, and then this thing butts updates those, and then the entire closing is done. And then for the opening we retract this, retract that, retract these, I think, wait, no. Yes. This is timed perfectly, so this misses the first pulse and then stuff, and then we turn this off. Again, we grab this with the redstone block later. You saw all the doubles retracted. And this is broken now because I don't know. Probably because blue keeps the thing actually on for longer. Or are you here at 61 again? Where are the items going? Did I not fill up the minecart? Oh yeah, I forgot to fill up the minecart. So there we go. So that fixes that. That's that. And then we end up in this position. And then we do another circuit in blue. So dark blue, actually 2 circuits, but I couldn't be asked to color code them because you can't color code them because one is literally just made up out of droppers and hoppers and comparators, and there's no wool block in there. So yeah, you can see now why this block is needed, because that needs to point into there. So it should actually be dark blue, but fuck that. That was a change I made super fucking late. So yeah, about that. So at this point in the build, I already had the yellow and the green worked out when I was finishing the rest of dark blue. So I first started off by building light blue, and then so sliders, cyan, light blue, and then this cyan, and then, by the way, it's important that this is a 2-tick. This is again one of those repeaters where it breaks instantly if you put it to anything else, and yeah. This isn't locational either because it never fires when there are 2 pistons next to it. Anyways, so dark blue. We're almost done. It's only like an hour left for this circuit. So what needs to go into this space? In this space there needs to be a redstone block double piston extender. And that needs to fire with a very specific timing on the opening and the closing. Needs to do an extra extension of retraction on the opening, and then needs to do another extra retraction, and then needs to do another extra retraction. All timed perfectly well. I spent around 15 hours on this circuit alone. So, yeah, about that. Dark blue. We're gonna have the aforementioned upper timer right here. So the cauldron, when it's at the top, will get pulled down, so that releases all the items, and then gets pulled up into here, which locks them, and then pushed back into here, which also locks them. So this basically just like, this is only off if it's closed, so that's good. And then since this is only off when it's closed and this is only on when it's closed, we can just do that, and we have our standard hopper timer set up, which basically is this in inverted now, but it's basically that. So that's our hopper timer set up, and because there are items in here, that means why these need to be full all the time. And the benefit of these being full is also that we can like get the items stuck in here by holding that repeater, and don't need to invent another amber gate in here. This was actually made, like, this gray shit was made after I already finished dark blue, so yeah, about that. That was like clutch as fuck. So yeah. Comparator reading this side into a block, because we have the standard 2-tick, and that's the double, that's the entire double basically, because yeah, you saw this does the extra pulse on the redirection, and then this does that, and yeah, we can't do more here because we're locked into place by these repeaters down here, and yeah. So that also powers that one conveniently, and then we need a 3-tick right here. 3-tick, I think. Yeah, 3-tick. To do the triple thing, and yeah, that's the main circuit, and then we put the extra timing circuit on here. But first, we need to subtract something from this, because we want an asymmetric hopper timer. Because this hopper timer has... wait, no, the exact opposite. This hopper timer has... this hopper timer has 15 items in it, and oh wait, that, how did this go? Yeah, it went like this, and then 8. So this has 15 items in it. And the way asymmetric hopper timers work, you subtract stuff from it. And so this thing needs to turn on with a signal strength of 1 or 2 at item 14, and turn on with a signal strength of 3 at item 15. Which is doable, that's just basic subtraction, you know. But then on the other edge, it needs to turn off almost instantly. Well, not really. It needs to go from signal strings 3 to 1 or 2 at item 11, at item 10 to 9, and turn off completely at 9 to 8. And that's what this bullshit is for. Because I can blend in a screenshot here. Like, figuring these out is such a nightmare. And then then we subtract 6, I think. Yeah, we subtract 6, which is just 2 shovels in a hopper. And then cut this off. Because you wouldn't need to cut this off in 1.15 because this signal can't travel down, and this signal. Okay, never mind. You need to cut this off in 1.15 as well. So yeah, that's that. So that is actually the closing done now. Should be, at least. It's not because I forgot this and forgot these two and those and then the bot update happens timed, and then that's the closing down. And then for the opening, this, because of the way this setup is, it also is timed properly. So there goes light blue again. And then we get stuck in this situation, which I said before. We do an extra pulse to grab this while it's still extended. That's why there's a 2-tick here. And then we need to fire an extra dark blue. Like there's another extra, there's an extra circuit in here which does that. So let's start where we should start, which is the extra extension of this guy. That is actually handled from here, and that is handled from here into this. I'm once again cheating delay out of a place where it shouldn't be able to cheat delay, because so this is a falling edge, but it's like a super slow falling edge. So if we place a minecart here, like so, there we go. So if we give this a 2-tick, you can see that takes ages, because first this 4-tick needs to turn on, and then it needs to turn off before the signal happens. So essentially we cheat like 4 extra ticks of delay by doing it like this. And yeah. The reason this is like this because there's stuff here which can't be hard powered anyway. So yeah, so then we need to put an item loop into this area. So we have our this is our starting dropper. This dropper kicks this thing into motion. Because when this redstone block retracts, it will fire this. And that gets its item from here. And that gets its item from there, from there, from there, from there, from there. That's the reset line. And that needs a minecart right there. I've dropped my lever. Did I drop it in there? No, okay. But that's the reset line, which also sort of has to be this long so that this doesn't create an endless loop. So yeah, about that. And then, but I still need like 4 extra hoppers before I get into here, or like I would have needed, but then I found this falling edge to cheat out an extra hopper, and like okay, so we have a hopper running into there, hopper running into there. So how do we connect this thing with that thing? Well, we're gonna clip a minecart into this hopper, floaty to here. And I'm trying not to go crazy while doing so. So, also inside a 2-tick, by the way. So, like that, and then like that, and then fence, push, break, clip, break, break, 2-tick, and now you shit. Yeah, that doesn't work. That just looks like it would work. So break that, place a that's exactly the other way around. Break that, place a chest right here. And then 0-tick this. Without this hopper being there. Actually no, it was right this way. Without that hopper being there. There we go. That is how you float an already clipped minecart, and it's kind of mess why it works. So, well, from what I understand correctly, Armor will probably be in the comments correcting me if I'm wrong. So what the piston extends and then retracts, and then on the retraction the minecart gets grabbed back into here and then collides with the chest, and that somehow tells it. I don't know how it works. I know this, that it bounces off this chest and back into the floaty position, or the chest makes it realize that it shouldn't have left the floaty position, or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter, just know it works. And then you can replace that, and replace this thing, and then replace that. If there's an item in here now, yes, we can fire this into. I forgot this block. Yeah, that sounds useful if you like want the thing to work. The face palm. Face palm is so big. You wouldn't believe it. Why aren't you? Oh, yeah. And there you can see why we need that one extra item between 1 and 3, because on the 1 the double piston snare fires, and on the 3 the thing extends, and that's how we create the ABBA to make sure that this actually like gets pushed down and pulled back out. But I broke the thing again. So let me just break that again. Let me just fucking fix that. So that should be fixed, hopefully. Where the fuck is the item? Alright, I picked it up. So there we go. So once we get into this position, I hope at least this will the double is in a broken state. So there you saw the really delayed pulse after the thing, and it also perfectly resets into there. So for fuck's sake. This needs to be too thick. And you can also, by the way, see how this dark blue keeps this hopper locked for longer. So that's another way to extend the thing for gray to function properly. So if you could please work now.
Nope.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm just fucking up the fixing of previous fixes. Okay. You have an item, yes. Okay, so you're a 2-tick. Yep, okay. Another one of those. If it's anything but the 2-tick, it will die horribly. There you go. So there we go. So now for the last circuit, which shouldn't be double dark blue, but it's sort of dark blue because it's like it's extra moves for this redstone block thing. So since dark blue is mainly just controlling this redstone block starter, I made a dark blue, and besides it's only like one wool block, so yeah. So on the refire. So on the third time this happens, which is once again timed properly, proof this, well, by this, so that it works out perfectly. Which is also why this needs to... By the way, this should be a 3-tick, I think. Yeah, that should be a 3-tick. It works with a 1-tick in this direction. I had it when I built it for the showcase in that direction. I think the 1-tick didn't work, so I used the 3-tick. Just put that on a 3-tick. So on the refire, on the third time this fires, which I currently have no way of like knowing except for this cauldron is here or not, which I can't possibly get the info from anything, and I can't really connect to light blue to figure it out, and I can't really connect to cyan to figure it out, so I had to come up with another 3-station item dropper circle bullshit in this spot, and that needs to do a full double, which then in turn triggers another single, because you know the thing automatically triggers itself, but only once. So that goes into this spot right here somehow. And it also needs to do an extra move with this input line to grab the thing. So what happens here is we get a full extension on the double that will put these two here. And then there's an extra pulse on this input line which brings this to here. So we get to here, and then we do another double. We instantly do another double to grab this thing, and then we put an extra pulse onto this, which pulls that to here, and then the single fires again to grab that. And that's how the top finishes. So I needed a 3-station item counter bullshit here, and I just decided to place it right here in this slot. So we have a dropper facing upwards, a dropper facing upwards, a dropper facing sideways, a dropper facing downwards, and a thing with a 2-tick repeater and a minecart. Like so. And then in the bottom one are 2 items. Two because we need to fire the thing twice, as I just explained, probably in a horrible way. So we need to fire that twice. And once again, not locational, because the repeater will always fire this, then that, then this, then that, then that. So the item from here will always go to there, the item from there will always go to there, and the item from there will be pushed by this before any of that happens. So on the first time, the item goes from here to here. The second time, this item moves to here, this item moves to there, and on the third time, this item moves down there, and the other item just chills in, I think that one. And that's it. So, and then the blue fires this thing again from here, which will then fire the second item from here down without affecting the first item. So that's how that refire happens. And we don't have much room to work with anymore. So we want to place a dust here, and then this is the 2-tick, and then this is a 2-tick, and this is a 4-tick, and blocks there. And then we fired all of that from here. This negate doesn't matter. This compare doesn't matter. Yeah, no, it doesn't. Because we compare 3 to 3 anyways. And so because this dust right there, which you can't see in the minecart, is actually like not pointing into this block, this will never fire off of the hopper clock timer. So this falling edge only fires when this comparator fires, which it will do from here. There. And the way we fire that is from, well, first off, we gotta read this. This hopper is our input, this hopper is our signal that we can go, which we will read through this block. And that will be read into this shit, which extends the back piston, as well as through a target block fire the dropper. And so the back piston gets 3 tick, and then this thing fires, and then the timing works out in a way that the front piston extends and before the back piston pulls it back. So because once again we're sucking item from above, the hopper has an item for 8 game ticks instead of 7, while this thing only takes 7 game ticks to turn on. So so the front one gets extended 1 game tick before it would retract. That's how we get a full double if we fire this dust with a 3.5 with a 4 tick. And that's the full double, and then the retraction happens automatically, as you know. And we get the extra signal from here after like 6 ticks, and we get a 3 tick signal, I think. And then also refire this if there's an item here, which only happens once. And that's everything. I probably rushed through the last part a bit. I'm sorry if it didn't make too much sense. Basically this thing fires this dust, which does a double, and then an extra move and refires itself once. And for the 1.15 people, this is the only target block which can't be simulated for easily. So all you need to do is link which is also like why I hate this thing, because if this would have been a block and a comparator, then I wouldn't have needed the target block right there. This is the very first target block I used. These weren't here yet because I didn't know I just had a slab here. I didn't have this circuit yet. I only had the top yellow, and so this is the very first target block I used before even this was a thing. So at that point I was still in like 1.9 territory 11, I'm not sure, 9, I think 9. At that point I was still in like 1.9 territory. I even used a fucking powered rail instead of a node block right there. Had to redesign the entire thing after that. Actually no, there was this dropper was just a detector powered rail. So in 1.15 you need to connect this guy. You probably want to use shovels in here in that case. You want to connect this guy to this dropper by using an instant repeater, like this one. And just connect that into here. And like as long as there's 0 ticks delay between these, it will work fine for the target. And yeah, fingers crossed. There we go. Then we wait for this hopper timer. This is important, and then there we go. We've just built the fucking 1275 block 7x7 funnel door with less sided entities than I expected. You can even cut those with armor if you use armor slab thing. Presumably you just want to take a slab in here, I guess. So yeah, that's it. Almost like over 2.5 hours later. And I could talk for another hour. I already cut myself short at places. So the last thing I didn't mention, I think, is this target block in 1.15. So the way you'd have to do that, this would be a slab. So the reason this target block is there, so nothing points into the hopper of magenta. So you have a slab right there, a slab right here. This is the brown one. This is the magenta one. So we're in, this is that. And then you would move this one tick repeater to down here, and then move this thing to down there, and then have this point into this, just have this point into there directly, with a signal strength of not more than 1, so that needs to be a normal item. And then and then you can put that there to redirect. This thing right here will come out with a 15, but the 15 will be unable to travel down, so that's not an issue. And then as long as this thing, which should only get a 1, doesn't overflow into there, which it doesn't, because remember we subtract 2 from 3, so this will always get a 1 from magenta itself. And when the input powers itself hard powers everything with like a significance of 8 or something, that doesn't matter, because at that point that's already on, you know. So yeah, you just need to go down a bit instead of just a simple redirect, because it's a double redirect inside. So did I mention anything else? Yeah, that's just a slab. That's just a slab. This guy is just this is the detector rails. This is just a detector rail right here. That guy is connected, and that's all the targets in here, I think. And yeah, I think I'm so sure I forgot everything. If I forgot anything and remember anything during editing, I will just edit it in right here, I guess. And yeah, 6 AM, time to stop recording, I guess. Thanks again to Lego Fan and Arma and Space, because I keep annoying them. And shoutouts to Tio and Bram. I miss Bram. Holy shit, when was the last time you heard of Bram? Bram 6x6 funnel was legendary with the tripwire before 1.5. It was like, if you have any questions, just leave a comment and I will answer all of them. And yeah, I will do a tutorial on like detailed hopper timers, I guess. I wanted to do that like years ago, like 2 years ago when I did the 2x2 TNT and hipster, and like it's only gotten worse since then. I guess one last thing where I could like be fucking bitchy about is this thing. So this hopper timer initially didn't look like this. So what I mentioned with the sand being inconsistent on Synergy. So on Synergy, at least, the hopper's internal cooldown, so when a hopper does something, it puts itself on a 7 tick cooldown, unless it's sucked from above, in which case it's 8. It will, like right now it's powered, so this thing is stuck at 0. As soon as in the game tick this on powers, it will instantly shoot out an item. On Synergy, this intern cooldown actually somehow like doesn't. It appears to tick down constantly, even if it's locked. Doesn't make sense. So the setup I had on Synergy was this. So you have an item loop like this. In here are a bunch of items. In here are a bunch of items. 21 or 18, I'm not sure. And then in here you had a different item. So the idea was, this is actually completely the wrong way. So the idea was to do it like, okay, hold on. Okay, so the idea was to read the signal like so. So this is 1. If we add another one, that's 2. So the idea was to make this shoot an item in there. And if we just lock that, you can see that this gets to turn to signal strength 2. 2 minus 1 is 1, and it will pass through. And then then that will put its item back in. So as you can see in vanilla, nothing happens. The item never actually stays in here long enough. There you go. It's blinking basically. And on Synergy, this contraption will put out a random tick pulse length thing. It will either give out nothing, and then it can give out anything between a 1 and a 8 game tick long pulse. So 1 to 4, half to 4 full redstone ticks, which is interesting and bad when you rely on it to give out exactly a 2 tick pulse. Because that's what I used here, and this fails if you give it a 2 tick on the refire, and like that's how I had to come up with this bullshit circuit. And then because I had to come up with this bullshit circuit, I had to put this thing here. Initially this wasn't as complicated, but I realized that when this is a hopper, this hopper and this hopper simultaneously suck from this minecart, making it locational, and also changes every time you load the world, I think. So this was just bug fixing afterwards because of yeah, locationality and shit. So that's why this is a fucking mess. And yeah, in Synergy, this sand thing is also, that's why that needs to be sand. In single player, if you put the 1 tick on there and onto 2, make that a sticky piston, it will, I think it will always, no, don't take my word, it's been like 3 weeks since I built this. I think that was the setting where the normal piston as sticky piston would 1 tick this glass, and then the sand gets pulled up, and then it pushes the sand, and then it pulls the sand back because it's sticky piston, and then this guy will actually still be powered from the burnout and pull the block back down, so on. So that would get around the sand being there altogether, which would then get rid of this bullshit timing. And like this entire negate compare bullshit. Anyways, one last time. You can see how the thing extending updates everything else. And yeah, now you can probably understand why the bottom, I mean, you probably don't understand why, but you don't understand exactly why, but you understand why it's necessary that the bottom is so like slow in comparison, because there's no other way to do this with the signal strength of going from 2 to 1. Whilst also being enough signal strength that these 10 items, so these 12 items plus the purple needs to fire this thing. But then going from 2 to 1, which is 4 snowballs to 3 snowballs, I think, no, 7 to 3. That's what does this, and then yeah. So left and right is unsynced because we need like what, 8 ticks to even get there, and then on the closing it's even worse because the signal strength first has to build up to even surpass the -1, the -2, and the -1 to get here. So that's why the closing takes ages. The closing of these two takes ages because the signal then needs to travel through this 3 times, and then through this, and then up this, and through this 2 tick, and then down this 2 tick, and then this extends. So I hope this made any sense. Like, I'm fucking done. Like, this is my best lore, and like, I hope you see how much like work went into this. you can't see it. I can try to find screenshots and just blend them in here and like. So just to give you a perspective on how I built this quickly. So I built I came up for the very first thing. I came up with the layout, and then I was like, oh, does it even work? And then I came up with a green and yellow test circuit, and basically the exact model you saw me build. And then I made the top yellow and the lime, and then I started making light blue, and then I made this light blue stock, my light blue clock. Didn't worry about the firing, I just had the clock. And then I built the entirety of dark blue. And then I did this, and then cyan just happened on the go, or like in the meantime. And then I built bottom yellow. And then I built purple. And then I built magenta. And then I built this brown. Then I built orange. Well, that orange, and then this orange. So just like imagine you get handed imagine you get handed this thing. Imagine you get handed this thing, and you're told, oh hey, why don't you just go ahead and build yourself a folded quad in here, which you manually need to retract, because the slider won't do that for you. Imagine you see this and ask yourself, how the fuck am I going to fit a folded fucking quadruple piston extender in this space? More like quadruple slider, not extender, but like, how the fuck did I manage to do this in just 10 hours? Like, honestly, what the fuck? How? Oh, that's bad. Oh, and also another thing which is important for the timing. You may notice this dust powering this target block, which initially was a slab, but then I came up with this inner circuitry for the refire, which wasn't there to begin with. Then I realized that this powers the target block, which is solid, and then that butts the entire fucking slider. So that causes a problem over here, which is why that refire is like delayed by an extra 3 ticks. Because if you didn't have this drop over, you could, this refire would still work, but like it would be too fast. So it wouldn't be too fast for that side, it wouldn't be too fast for the sides themselves. It would be too fast as in this piston would be kept in a butted state, causing this slider to be unable to push back over ever. Like, that's that. And then yeah, bye.